All right, good morning, guys. Quick sound check. We got about 40 seconds here until the bell. Hmm. Let's see what we can get into here today. What's up, Hassan? Sound good? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Um, I'm not a big fan of really anything, if I'm being honest here. I just don't really like where we're opening at. So if we kind of take a look across the board, it's like the Dow is basically unchanged here. We're trading, up like 10 points or so. The yikes. The Nasdaq somehow though is down 200 plus points. Russell's down like 6 and then S&Ps are down 15. So we've got Tesla earnings after the bell. A little bit of weakness in there. I just don't love where everything's at. So I do see gold. The only thing I don't like about gold at the moment is that we're not getting the same type of move here in silver. So, like gold's pushing up towards this 41, 43, 50s, which we traded in pre-market. And silver's getting a little bit of a pop there now too, but it's still not quite up, 60, 30s, give or take, was that pre-market area that we traded up into. So I think my initial game plan here this morning is just to kind of let some of this trade. Like I think we've got a level in here in the Russell, this 29.90 50s. We didn't open above, so maybe we hold here after the first 15, 20 minutes or so. We can kind of look to maybe do something with it from there, but at the moment, I think it's just a kind of a wait and see game and collect a little bit of data on everything. So that's my initial plan. I'm I'm somewhat okay with a short potentially in Nasdaq, um, and I'm somewhat okay with a potential long in the Dow up over this 548s here. But like those are going to be conflicting, so I don't know. That's why I just want to see a little bit more data. There's room in the Dow to 745s if it really wants to go, so it's about 200 points. I'm not opposed to that. But yeah, I just want to see how we ultimately end up trading here. We've got a little move lower there in Amazon, Meta, SpaceX a little bit so far, and Microsoft. The weird dynamic between like names that have been strong and then give up that strength and then try and take it back and then give it all back in one day has just been super weird. So I don't fully know what to think about that, but we did just go ahead and trade those 548s now for the Dow. Russell is pushing up through. Yeah, these overnight gold moves have been kind of annoying. There's room to 3008 for the Russell. That gives us like 18 points to work with if it does want to pull back to 29.90 50s there. A decent little start to the day for Nasdaq trying to hold there. It was about 200 points lower just 20, 30 minutes ago. I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, but that I'm feeling today because I think it might end up being like a rather early day, and we'll go get a little workout in. But I'm gonna go ahead and crack myself one of these Form energy drinks. I've already had my breakfast, so it's not on an empty stomach, but this one's Paradise Punch. You'll drink about half of it here over the next hour or so and get cracked for a workout. Dow trying to push back up here towards 548 a little bit there. Bloom Energy. I think Emily likes those. I can't do an energy drink on an empty stomach though. That's a no bueno. Russell maybe wanting to pull back a little bit here. There's a small idea that like maybe this 481's just now when that pullback for the Dow kind of holds. 489 is that low on a 5-minute, 481's on a 2-minute. There's an idea that that maybe holds, but I don't really want like a maybe type thing today. I'd rather have a little bit more confirmation for something. These lows down here were 90s for NASDAQ too, so we didn't quite trade those 85s. We might see Russell come down and kind of grab this 90-50. But Dow is trying to push there a little bit, getting up through that 548s now. I'm also open to buying pullbacks there. That would actually probably be a better trade if we can get the Dow to push up through there and then pull back while something is maybe making a new low. Maybe that's Russell, maybe that's NASDAQ, I don't know yet. But I'm going to keep an eye on the Russell here. This little pullback in the 90s now. Dow's rejecting. We can see the Russell maybe come down and make new lows and then get back through opening print. Wouldn't be a terrible idea. It also could just hold right here from the open and push back up through these 90-50s. I just don't love it. AMD with an absolute ripper. Holy shnikes. That's 20 points straight off the open, just right up to the dome there. There's room to 566s in here, so it's got another like 20 points to go. I just don't know that. I've been keeping this thing on watch. The options are just so expensive in here. Like even like the 565s, they're 20 points out of the money. They're still $2. $1.84 at the moment. And there's 0 DTEs. Like, I'm not personally trying to buy that. Anthropic news. Yeah, I mean the charts in here look good for it. I like it. I like it overall. I think it wants to get through that 566 ultimately, but I'm just not going to buy it right here. Dow's trying to hold here. Russell kind of struggling with maybe a new low, maybe wanting to open. I'm gonna go ahead and fire off a giveaway. We'll start it early just so you guys can get entered. Exclamation or raffle in the chat for a free daytraders.com eval. So if you're just tuning in, exclamation raffle in the chat will get you entered for that. While we wait for a trade here. What's your name? Buy you a drink. I'm T-Pain. You know me. Club close at 3. What's the chance of you rolling with me? Back to the crib. Show you how I live. Let's get drunk. Forget what we did. Buy you a drink. Russell here. Russell is tempting with the idea of stops under 86.50s basically. It's like 3.5 points. It's honestly not bad. Dow just came down, traded 92s there. What's up, Derivator? I like the Russell there. I didn't do anything with it, but I kind of like it. I think there might be like one more thing here. What? ChatGPT hacked another tech company? Yo, this shit's about to get wild. Do you see those robots fighting in China? I don't think I can show the video, but we kind of screwed. Low key. Interesting move lower here in the Russell while NASDAQ tries to push higher. Dow getting rejected off that 548s as well. Like I said, I think there was like one more thing here. Maybe NASDAQ pushes up towards like 207s. Yeah, I think we're playing a dangerous game, honestly. I think it's a dangerous game. I was actually watching a YouTube this morning on data centers and kind of what that looks like from a water source for business, a documentary that someone did like 2 months ago. I mean, I'm all for technology, but at a certain point, it might become a problem. Dow kind of coming back there. Russell kind of coming back here as well. I'd like to see this get back up through opening print and maybe even 90.50s. I don't think there's any rush to do anything there, but the Dow seems like it kind of likes what it just did and has found a bit of a bottom. So we do technically have a divergence there where Russell came down, made new lows. The timing's not terrible, 9:44. Dow actually looks pretty decent. Be mine. If you like the Russell, we're pushing right back up into opening print here, 89.40s now. That low is 83.70s, which is a little further than I would like. I'm not really trying to take a 6 or 7 point stop here. Because target's about 18 points away. So I'd like to see this kind of push back up through here and then maybe give us something where we can use like 89s as a stop loss. Technically it's going to trigger up through 91.40s now. So let that kind of figure itself out. We are going to be pushing into 207s here for NASDAQ at the same time, which is interesting. We traded 91.50s there on the Russell. The Dow looks good though. Dow just popped up to new highs there. Let's see if we can get a retest of 548 in there. Again, we still do kind of have NASDAQ into 207s. This Dow's just pushing though. I put that in an order window, but I don't know if we're going to get a pullback for it or not. We did just get a nice little retest here. Traded 89s on the Russell. See where this wants to hold at. NASDAQ is so far getting rejected from this 207s. I'd like an entry in the Dow here. That's the strongest market on the board. Yes, S&Ps are also pushing highs here currently, but the Dow clearly pushing up through this 548s. Look to see if we can't get a pullback there for that. Russell here getting a little bit more weakness than I would have expected to see now. I tried to push back over 90.50s and just couldn't do it. We might hold right in through here and maybe back up over 89.50s. There's an idea for a little tight stop under 86s. It's actually not terrible. But still really, really interested in this Dow. That's the main one. By the way, if you're just tuning in, exclamation raffle in the chat. for a free daytraders.com eval account. So far there are 14 seconds left. There's pretty decent odds for everybody that's in it. We'll run another one. Nice. T1 Wanna. Let me know if you're in the chat. And if so, hit me up in Discord. Shoot me a DM. We'll give it 2 minutes here. Hey Siri, set a timer for 2 minutes. If they don't claim it in 2 minutes, we'll pick another winner. And then we'll run it back again. NASDAQ pulling back off these 207s here. Nice. Congrats. Hit me up and shoot me a DM on Discord. Shoot me a DM on Discord. I'm going to go ahead and complete that one. I'll get you hooked up. Russell maybe trying to rally back a little bit here. So is NASDAQ after I mentioned it's pulling back off there. Meta getting smoked off those highs there. And we're getting this pullback now in the Dow. I'm willing to give that a shot here if we can get a pullback to 548. So I'd like to see kind of a little 2-minute develop in there. I would also really like to see the Russell try and get some type of rally back here. See if we can get all 4 markets moving together. There's no news, but we just kind of popped like there was something there. Well, so much for my pullback in the Dow. I don't know what that was. Russell high up here is 92. NASDAQ right back up at that 207, and the Dow is putting in new highs currently now. So we were just totally teased just now on that. Super unfortunate. AMD wants to make a run. These options are just so expensive. I'll put the 555s on watch here, but the stop's like damn near $2 on these things. I mean, they probably go to like 15 bucks, but still. It's probably a 5-to-1, but I don't like it. I mean, I like it, I just don't like the price. I'm kind of surprised that NASDAQ has been able to rally this back quite as much as it has, especially when you look across the board. It's like Microsoft's down, Amazon's down, Meta's down. I mean, I guess Tesla's trying to claw back here some. Nvidia, obviously AMD are green here, but nothing like super impressive overall. I'm gonna go ahead and we'll run another giveaway here. We'll make it a little bit longer. We'll make it like 20 minutes and do it for an Apex eval. There you go. Exclamation raffle in the chat. I'll try and keep these rolling while we're on stream. All right, Russell is... I'm a little upset at the Dow, to be honest. I'm a little upset at the Dow. Russell here looking better. Like I said, I really like the risk reward in here because there's about 18 points to target. So if we can get this with like, you know, like a 3 to 4 point stop, I mean, we're looking at, you know, 4, 5, 6 R's, something like that, then I'm cool with it. We got a nice move here now in the, obviously Russell's, or Dow's moving really nicely there. It's going to work towards those 745s. NASDAQ I thought would get more of a pullback, maybe get a divergence down into 29,085s, which we didn't get. So, kind of tough on entries, honestly. We almost had one. This high day is 96.40s. See if we can't get a pullback into like 90.50s again. Maybe even kind of small little shimmy down to like 89s and change for the Russell for an entry. If it just runs away, that's going to be kind of obnoxious. I know. I know. The Dow. The Dow kind of hurts a little bit. There was 200 points worth of room in there, so. Oh, you took the potential higher low here. Yeah, I was watching it back up over 89s, but I just didn't like the stop being 5 points. I guess in theory it technically was fine from a risk reward standpoint. I just wanted something a little bit tighter. This AMD is moving as well. I didn't take a position in that, but that 566s looks to be pretty much like a magnet at this point. Let me see what that looks like on TradingView. Make sure the gold with a nice move continuing now. I literally didn't see your comment until after I said that. That's funny. By the way, exclamation raffle in the chat. S&P is about to press this 49s. The fact that NASDAQ erased the entire bar from yesterday and then so far this morning has just not looked back from the open. We got a small little rejection off of 207s initially and then just continued to rip is kind of crazy. This might be our little pullback here in the Russell. We traded 90, 70s. Listen, if we get front ran again, the Dow did it by 4 points earlier, 552s, looking for 548s. I'll just be like, all right, throw up the deuces, we out. If we can potentially get up through, it's 10:01. If we potentially get up through this 75.49s here for the S&Ps, it would seem like we're kind of chasing it for new longs up above that, but there's technically room to like 76.12s, which is like 60 points away. And that's really not all that crazy considering we've essentially just moved 50 points, you know, in the last like 40, 50 minutes here. So to say that we couldn't continue this rally on the day, it would be a little bit obnoxious, like right in front of, you know, Tesla earnings, Google earnings, stuff like that. But technically the room is there if it does want to move. I suppose maybe we could look at potentially like SPY calls or something. That would put us back up into like 754. Let me see what these are looking like. I don't know that we're going to hold this and get through it or not, but 754 34s. Yeah, I just saw that. I'm going to take a break for a quick second on that and come back over here. Russell tagged the level and the open there. All right, I'm going to try a little Russell here. My stops are just under those 89s. All right, let's see if we can't get that to make a move. Longs in the Russell there. I don't love it, but and I don't love it just for two reasons. One is it's the only market that hasn't moved and made new highs on the day. And then we also have this S&P right into 75.49s. But again, if we're going to push through this, then I think we've got a lot of room. We can potentially move there. So targets on this, 3008. And it's like, okay, there's 17 points worth of target. We're risking 3 points. So it's a little greater than 15 to 1. Or sorry, not 15 to 1, 5 to 1. 15 points. So I'm okay with that. We will see if Dow can get down here or up here into 745s. That was the trade in which I really wanted. Unfortunately, just no entry in there. I'm going to try to ignore the idea that the Russell is that weaker market and look to assume that it maybe plays a little catch up here. But I think at the same time, I'm also open to, and it's only 10:05, I'm also open to an S&P trade as well, and that's mainly just because of the room that we have. If this thing does want to move today, I mean, we could see, like I said, that 76.12 that's up there, which I'll be totally okay with. Also, exclamation raffle in the chat if you have not done so, which so far there's only like 80 y'all that entered the giveaway. So if you want a free account or a shot at a free account, at least, that's a heck of a move off 49s already. We're just kind of drifting. Like VIX is just weak, pushing lower here. The ticks are pretty stable. We're minus 110 at the moment, but we're pushing higher, obviously, at the same time. So it's kind of interesting from that perspective. But yeah, I think we've got some room. I think we've got some room here. Do a full split. Currently long the Russell. Wishing I was long the Dow. It just didn't give us the entry that I wanted. She will. NASDAQ here, trying to get a little bit of pullback. I wouldn't be too surprised to see that pull back to 207s. S&P's maybe got a little overzealous there for a second. This is going to be the problem for the Russell is like, if we do pull back here and we don't hold these 49.75s, for example, in the S&Ps, or we don't hold 207s for NASDAQ, the Russell's going to kind of struggle here, I think. Let's see what that SPY was. This new low ticks on the day there, minus 340s and change. This is it right here, 748, 64s. I like that little kind of poke under there for the Russell and right back up. That actually looks a little better now. It might be able to do its own thing if that holds. That's a nice little shimmy there for a second. 753s here. These options are 15 cents. I wonder if we should look at the Russells. Just double down on our idea of the Russell here. Bugger. $297s, maybe more. I don't really want to press it. I don't think these are worth it at the moment. We'll just stick with what we got. Price is moving though, like rather interesting. I don't know if it's just on my side of the screen or if everybody else kind of sees this. I just feel like we're moving a bit. I don't even know that skippy is the word, but we're just kind of like skating around. S&P sitting right here at these 49.75s. Everything feels sketch this week. This week actually hasn't been bad for me. Yesterday was great. We front ran the shit out of this level in the Dow though. 721s, the level was 745s. No, now pulled back 100 points. The Russell, however, doesn't look too bad. Whether it can manage to hold this while S&P's Dow kind of figure themselves out. NASDAQ kind of doing a little something something too, but yeah, no, I would be much appreciated. I set alerts up there. 9640s is that high. It's not too far. I think we did. So we technically traded 9870s and overnight though. At some point. So there's still more above there. S&P is getting a little rejection off that 49.75s. The idea that we run away 1013 to 76.12s is kind of starting to fade a bit, I think. We probably should have held a little bit better. By the way, you got 56 seconds left to go here on this giveaway exclamation raffle in the chat. I don't know, like, y'all just aren't interested in the giveaway or what, but that's like stupid low engagement. Nobody wants a free Apex eval account, I guess. Face damn every day. It's gonna be a course like jock where you stay. Oh, you're banned from them? That's valid. Alright. I want to take this Russell off. I'm giving it like 1 second there, and I closed it. Alright, so down 3.2 points in the Russell there on that. I like the risk reward. It was good risk reward. But no go on that, unfortunately. And we're pushing back down under this 207s now for NASDAQ. Did we just get shaken? Yeah. Yeah, I like Lucid as well. Honestly, Lucid's probably one of my favorites at the moment. Pretty sure I say that like every day. I posted them this morning too. Yeah, I'm watching it. Nasdaq's holding that 207s at the moment. Funded next, Rapids. I mean, let's be honest, there's a lot of great options out there when it comes to that. Buttons on feet. I don't know that I like what NASDAQ S&Ps are doing here. I'm semi-tempted to say that like maybe NASDAQ holds here off 207s and you could look at longs, but at the same time, like we're also rejecting from that 49.75s and S&Ps. And we front ran the target there in the Dow, so I suppose if you wanted something here, this isn't terrible in the NASDAQ, but I would probably give it just a bit more time. Let's take a look here. Let's pick a winner. Let's go. Mr. Ryan Bowser. Mr. Ryan Bowser. I know you're in the chat somewhere. Either that or you're out milking a bull. Shoot me a DM, bro. I got you. I get you set up. It's not even 10:30 and we already gave away 2 accounts. NASDAQ maybe trying to hold in here. S&Ps looks like it just froze. Meanwhile, NASDAQ kind of doing this. Motherfucking problem. I gotta be honest, I don't like this action. We front ran Dow on pullbacks for the longs. We front ran the 745 targets on the Dow, essentially for targets. And we traded the 75.49s for S&Ps, acted like we were going to push through and hold, and then maybe get pullbacks later. Instead, we immediately turned around after kind of like gliding up through there. Pulled back here now. I'm probably going to miss the long off 207s for NASDAQ there, but if we get up through 75.49s, I'm still interested in something there. But I'm also just not like, we took a little loss in the Russell, nothing crazy. I don't want to like dig myself in a hole and have like 3 or 4 losses on a day, considering the earnings and all the things coming out after the bell. And like that obviously wouldn't hurt the week if we ended up going down, 3 or 4 stops because of yesterday, but I also just don't want to do that. Like, I would rather not. Yeah, no, for sure. But I also wouldn't mind being long from 207s at the moment because that's a pretty decent little move so far. By the way, for those of you that are listening in and you're not currently in the Discord, we'll do giveaways in the Discord as well. There's some free tools in there, the risk reward tool for Thinkorswim and all those things. Nightly videos and stuff get posted up in there. So you can click that link and join the Discord for free. Free 99. Okay, Dow. 549's traded there now. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking that too, maybe, but I mean, you look at something like Microsoft, Apple, Meta, it doesn't look good. We did just trade 548s, literally to the tick here for the Dow. I feel like I should be long that, but has a low tick rating on the day, minus 522s. Let's see if we can get a shimmy of 548s for the Dow. If we can do that, then potentially there's something worth doing, but otherwise, I think that it's worth it for us to just sit on hands. We also got 5 minutes here for this first hour, 10:30 there. We might get a little divergence with the Russell. It might make new lows. Get below the open. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at the moment. We did reject that 49s fairly well for S&Ps, but we're still holding this like 207s here for the NASDAQ. I think markets are honestly just a little bit confused. Like we're just kind of fighting back and forth between indices here. I want to say that there's a long in the Dow here, and maybe it's just a pure little scalp play. What are we trading? 542s, 539s there. Tick reading new lows there, minus 569s now. There's that divergence. Russell made new lows. If we can push back up through 548s here, then I'm open to maybe trying this super tight. We continue to push lower though, so I don't think there's anything we can do with that at this point. Too far. 507s. The only thing here, the only thing that is from a long standpoint potentially good and is trying to hold is the NASDAQ from 207s. Like otherwise, you could try it with micros. Stops aren't terrible, 195, so like 20 couple points. It's nothing crazy. I'm gonna do it super tiny, like super, super tiny in NASDAQ. Just the idea that it's holding, we do have the Russell divergence there. I'm fully expecting that this stops. Hence why I'm just doing legitimately one micro, so it's doesn't really count, so to speak, but if we hold off 207s, the room is that we got 483s as a target above. I'm not really expecting that to happen, but in the event it did and I didn't take, a 20-point attempt at a stop here, that'd be kind of foolish. Even with one micro, that actually turns out to be a fairly decent 250 points. And that's probably going to be it for me on the day. Unless we somehow get back up over those 49s for S&Ps. or we get back up over 90/50s for the Russell, which probably wouldn't be as interesting at that point either. Nasdaq trying to hold it. There's a jet going by. He gone. We taking over. We can supply you. Feed the hotel. Unless you try to. One city at a time. Nasdaq managing to hold pretty well there. Getting a little bit of push now. Like I said, it would be kind of foolish not to take that little bit of risk here. Again, I did it super tiny size, so it doesn't really matter. But at 250 points in the Nasdaq, that'll matter. Nice little reversal bar there out of the Russell. The Dow, I kind of would have expected it to get up over 548s by now. I guess it's trying. That still is kind of interesting, but not as much as it would have been had we held there. I suppose we did technically. This was 507s, 508s. Yeah, we didn't. Russell looks kind of ugly. S&P is kind of ugly as well. That little retest of 551s there, if you're bearish on the Dow, was probably it. If you think we go back down to lows, I personally can't short that, especially with NASDAQ holding 207s, but it's there. On the other hand, we just cracked 508s. If we reverse that and get back up through 548s, then Longs would be on the table. Russell new lows there. NASDAQ right back down. That action's kind of annoying. Let's see, yeah, part of me thinks the NASDAQ still has it in it. And the other part of me is like, we could easily get smacked here. That's not a great look overall for indices in general. Somehow NASDAQ's holding on its own. Maybe it's just on the backs of like AMD. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think we rally from here in the NASDAQ, or you think markets get smacked? Let's see what the chat has to say. I'm going to fade this shit out of either way. If you guys say we're going long, or say we're going lower, I'm full porting. I'm probably not, honestly, but it does kind of look like a garbage pile. Just a big heap. We rally up, we sell all the way off. NASDAQ, though, you can't really argue is holding some strength. Because, I mean, it technically is. S&P's here. You can make an argument that, yeah, we rejected 75.49s. Ow. My NASDAQ long's cooked. No, I don't have a really big bias one direction or the other here. I think we could see everything but NASDAQ get rocked. At the same time, I can also see, because of that divergence in the Russell, I could see the Dow kind of getting some legs under it here and trying to make a rally back. But it's also just like not my favorite thing either. So gold's made a decent push, but now kind of just chilling in this range up here. If Dow could get back over 548s, that wouldn't be terrible. But at the same time, like, it did try for those 745s earlier, front ran. So it's not the greatest thing for it. Yeah, see, I think if we lose 207s again, we're probably in trouble across the board. And like Russell potentially leads us lower. S&Ps don't look all that bad for the idea that maybe we hold there 32.75s, we traded 32.50s. Still just waiting for NASDAQ. I don't know, nothing's great, which we kind of expected coming into the day. So if we keep that contained, then I'm totally okay with that. Looking like we're losing it now. Russell new lows. There's no bueno. The beat drop. So many ways to love ya. I found you finally, make me wanna say, oh, 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 oh. The shadow might be right. Little 180 sweep and back up here. If we get back up through 207s, that would actually look pretty decent. Ways to love ya. Break it down. I got my finger on the button. To close that little NASDAQ idea I had, but it hasn't fully like broken down like I kind of expected it would there. We're kind of rallying back just a little bit. S&P is almost back to opening print there. Taking a stab on the GC15. Yeah, we didn't quite get back down to 4143s on there to test the level, but I see it. NASDAQ might be about to give it up here. NASDAQ pushing back here towards 207s. I kind of want to take a little bit more. I want to kind of add to it maybe. Back over 207s. That's a nice reversal there out of the S&Ps. Nice reversal bar now. 5-minute chart for NASDAQ. It's making a decent little push. I don't know whether it holds or not, but Russell, however, still going to get new lows. My name should be Richard. Death is a decision. Okay, get a new watch. Still got the vision like a line between two dots. NASDAQ here, maybe, just maybe. Shadow might have been right there. Nice little dip down to 180s and then you got to push though. You got to push. I'm surprised at the weakness in the Russell though. Like this thing just continues to get hit to the downside at the moment. Excuse me. Like we're 20 points off those highs from up there. We made new overnight lows, did the whole thing. Like it's doing that. Meanwhile, NASDAQ's maybe trying to hold these 207s. Dow is maybe going to try and rally back to 548s. I don't know. There's nothing great. I'm gonna try not to use a ton of brain power here. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, Nasdaq. If you hold 207s, cool. We can rally. If not, then it's a 30-point stop loss. It is what it is. Like, that's essentially the thinking at the moment. Like, maybe, just maybe, there's this idea here in the S&Ps where we've come down. We didn't quite trade the opening print. Maybe this 15-minute wants to hold and it's trying to get something moving to the upside here. Just maybe the idea is that the Russell has kind of found a bit of a bottom. Doesn't look likely though. So I'm just going to let it kind of be what it is and leave it at that realistically. If we come right back down here and like take us out, then it is what it is. You can make an argument that that bar was nothing more than just the retest for 207s here potentially. Depends on how it obviously finishes out, but AMD looks like it still wants higher. NVIDIA looking like it wants higher still now. Nothing is great though, let's be honest. Green Dilly. Yeah, Green Dilly would be nice here. I don't know, we're kind of holding this. Potentially the hourly maybe does like a little 1, 2, 3 type of thing. There's a lot. I mean, there's way too much time. I'm not interested in like sticking around for another hour in order to find out if that's going to be the case or not. I'm going to end up putting stops in on this thing and like let it do its thing if it wants to. Russell just made new lows there now. Again, only market to do so, but that isn't really a surprise considering the weakness it has. Yeah, no, she did. Russell had a good chance too. It was just the laggard, unfortunately, this morning. NASDAQ, some more nonsense right there. NVIDIA breaking the new highs there now. NASDAQ back over 207s. I kind of want to add a little bit to it. Nothing was done for me. NASDAQ maybe gonna hold here now and start pushing. We've got the S&Ps pushing back up here a little bit too there. But I'm not like holding my breath on this at the moment. Operation Green Dilly. T minus 3 minutes. You think 11 o'clock? We're kind of getting it now. NASDAQ is kind of getting a little bit of love there. We've been sitting on this 207s for a while now. It would make sense if it could move. I mean, it is certainly trying here. S&Ps look like they want to try and press back up into that 49.75s here. I don't know where that'll push NASDAQ to, but again, the big target is still way up there at like 480s. I don't know if we get there, but I kind of want to hold it for it. We don't really have anything to lose on it. watch me. Bitch, watch me. This trade right here, essentially in NASDAQ, it's up about 50 couple points. My average in here is 208.50, so literally right off those 207s there. And this is essentially like 2/3 of the way to, if you're trading an eval account, like a 50K Lucid Flex, it's like 2/3 of the way there from 1,500 bucks looking for a pass if you were wanting. Same thing for Tradeify, obviously. They gave us one little kind of scare, if you will. I don't even know if you should call it that or not, but the Dow's still weak though. Russell here, 74.40s. That's getting a little bit of love off those lows. Russell may be finally saying, hey, these are my lows for the day, and wanting to get a bit of a pop. NVIDIA with a nice push there. The Dow, on the other hand, it's like it really can't get out of its own way now, which is surprising considering it was the stronger market this morning. But gold just did a little kind of shimmy shake there. I see that. Oh, can we do anything with that? You still in that, Hassan? 41, 49, 10s, 48, 60s, like 5 ticks through. That's kind of obnoxious. I didn't see that till just now. I mean, I like this NASDAQ. Let it keep doing its thing. Like I said, if we can get S&Ps, I still don't know that that's necessarily a possibility on the day, but like if we do get up through 75, 49, 75s here for S&Ps, then like there is still that potential for, you know, the 76.12s up there or 754s for the SPY. So I kind of like that. Yeah, I don't think the Russell was a bad try off those lows. What's your entry? Like right around 73s? The 753s in the SPY, they're 8 cents now. And we still got to get up through that, which is probably going to push them up over 10 cents or so. I suppose, isn't there's 0 day on IndieX, right? If we're looking for that. which we're looking at what, 200 points from here. So 29, like 320s. Damn, these things are pricey. I guess we could look at QQQ as well. That might honestly be the better play. 712s. Oh, they're expensive. They expensive. Who's that handsome fella that said trade 180s and then green dilly to the upside? $29.74. It's not bad. Yeah. It's just the weaker market on the day, which sucks because if we pick the wrong market, then this is what we end up with: is S&P's NASDAQ making the move, Russell Dow are just stuck in the mud. Nice move here in the NASDAQ though. I am not upset by this in the slightest. $207's giving us a nice little boost there. Kind of wish I would have added when I talked about that, which was literally like right here. But we can always say that, right? I got the fire. You spark it up and I'm gonna put you out. NVIDIA with a big boost there. NASDAQ new highs there. Oh man, my triceps are sore. Triceps be sore. Yeah, I don't think it's a bad target. The way Nasdaq's looking though, it looks like it might want more. If we could get all the way up to 483s, that'd be a nice move. Fire main, I got the fire coming. You can spark it up and I'm gonna put it out. What's your entry, Shadow? Where were you able to get filled? Oh, 190? Oh, you beat me a little bit. Yeah, I don't blame you for that. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't know. S&Ps are into this 49s. Like, I'm half tempted to just maybe take some off and kind of walk away. It's the only market getting new highs on the day. But at the same time, like, I see this move in NVIDIA and AMD, and I'm like, there's just more in this, I think. If I had more on, then yeah, maybe. But I don't know that I really have enough on to like be all that concerned by it to some degree, which sounds bad, but like I've been playing Fortnite a little bit in the evenings with my son, or the afternoons, I should say. I don't know. I'm half tempted to put a little risk on here for SPY and just assume that maybe, just maybe, we try and make that run all the way up to 754s. It seems too easy. It's like 7.53s. They're 10 cents. If we go to Target, that turns into like probably $1.50. So it's risk one to make like 15. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Question is, can we do it? If we had a stronger Russell and Dow, I would think that that's probably quote unquote easy. But the fact that we don't really have that is kind of holding me up a little bit. And the fact that we have those earnings coming out after the bell, it's like, we'll probably wait for that to happen until after that. So I'm leaning more on the side of like not doing it, but like I want to do it. And I said I wasn't going to stick around for an hour, but here we are. It's 11:17. To the wall, to switch up all my balls. All these bitches crow. Motherfucker, down, ski, ski. Motherfucker, down, ski, ski. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know. I'll be right back. I gotta go. I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. But I might end up doing something here just for the lotto shot on it. We'll find out. BRB. Walk away and market starts to rip there. I didn't do anything with the S&Ps. Kind of feel like I should. We got a nice move there in the Dow. Pushing back up through that 548 here, just in time, maybe. Just in time. You still holding that Russell there, Hassan? Nice. Good work. This kind of looks like it could have legs. I like a pullback here in the Dow. Got 125 points in the NASDAQ currently at the moment. Trying to go for a second payout this week. Let's go, dude. $11.29 here. I'm down to maybe do something in the Dow. See if we can't pull back to this 548s. At this point, I really wouldn't want to see S&Ps pull back. I'd like to see that hold its strength. NASDAQ as well. Obviously, we could go a little bit sideways up here, but debating if we should just close that NASDAQ in general and call it. I still think we got room though, that's the problem. It's a long hold. Let's see if we can't get a pullback here in the Dow into 548s. What's your number? She said 911. NASDAQ getting a little pullback here now. The Dow doesn't seem to care at the moment, but officer tell you Luton and get them cuts off. But yeah. Somewhere before us. No. Make the price here. What did Russell look like on that close? There's the Dow pullback here. Did we actually trade? We didn't quite test 548s. No test there. Front run 551s. Eh. You out? I'm gonna look to see if we can't hold this pullback here in the NASDAQ, and then we'll just look to bring some stops up underneath here somewhere. Yeah, it's about gym time for me as well. And there's 548s for the Dow. We're gonna hold or not becomes the question. Let me know, let me know. NASDAQ kind of teetering here. Maybe it wants to pull back, maybe not. We've got the S&Ps pulling down here into the 75.49, 75s. Dow coming right off this 548 there now. If we can hold that, it looks good for NASDAQ too, actually. Like I said, there's room to 745s back up there. You could honestly look at the Dow for a long. Risk reward wise isn't terrible. High day in here, 52,721s. It's kind of getting a little rally here while NASDAQ pulls back, which is interesting to see. Just traded 75.50s there for S&Ps. Somewhere down around here is likely where NASDAQ kind of stalls out at if it's going to continue the rally on the day. I kind of want to just like lock in 50 points on it, just an arbitrary number, and call it good. but it should be somewhere right in through here, especially if S&Ps are going to hold. Should be good. That low is 74s, 274s. Dow got a decent little start there. Traded 597s, a little bit shy of that 600 high there. If it's going to be a nice little trend here for the rest of the afternoon, or at least through lunch and into early afternoon, that would make sense, I think. Just try and go revisit those highs and kind of do all that. That should get NASDAQ up into targets. S&Ps will get close maybe. If we're lucky, it'll run. We see some type of little news spike or something out of it, make it move. Otherwise, I'm looking at where can we put these stops at. For NASDAQ, that'll be safe. Still makes sense risk reward wise, and that way we can walk away. I think we'll just try and lock in like 258 on this and call it good. Our low is 274s. Entries over here, 208, so like 259. Should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. 259s on a stop here. That gives it about 15 points if we want to really kind of rip under this 274s here. I don't think we will, but in the event that we do, I think that gives us enough room to still stay in the trade and still makes the risk reward make sense. Yeah, I mean S&Ps are technically they're open skies right here. Like S&Ps are pretty much wide open. Like I said, there's room to that 76.12s. Um, I think that's the Dow maybe popping through those 600s. Yeah, Dow trying to push up through those 601s now. 1738. Seen your pretty ass soon as you came in the door. Yeah, you literally had to take it like right off of the level. There we go, NASDAQ. Let it keep on moving. I got stops in place. I think for me, I'm probably going to go ahead and just let this do its thing. And honestly, try not to mess with it. We got a nice little move here happening in the Dow as well. S&Ps are about to push these highs too. The only thing that's really lagging is going to be the Russell, which I guess is okay. I mean, it's been lagging all day. I would prefer to have that in my favor, but it doesn't seem like NASDAQ needs it. It doesn't seem like S&Ps really need it either. So, yeah, I picked up a couple, nothing crazy, of those 753 calls for S&Ps. Essentially, they're still right here. They're like 11 cents right now. I paid 10 cents for them, so that was just a couple points ago. I'm not really expecting those to go make the move, but if they do, it's like, okay, we go from 10 cents to like $1.30, $1.50. That's 13, 15x. Like, I'll take it. I don't have a crazy size on though, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. I don't know if this is true or not. What the fuck is this? They're saying the 8th International Symposium for Noah's Ark is set for October 15th through 16th. There's a legit, like, company trying to do some scans and potentially dig down to find this thing. That would actually be wild. If we find definitive proof of Noah's Ark, that'd be actually wild. We get that before GTA 6. That's actually nuts. Yeah, Noah's Ark Scans.com. 2020 drone image. It's in Turkey. I don't know. Why don't we can't just excavate this thing? Like, y'all say it's 15 feet down, so take a couple amigos with you and some shovels, and that shit'll be done in like 2 hours. That's what they're saying. I don't know. Just reading this. I've never seen that official like website before. I don't know. They're saying they got like GPR scans, ground penetrating radar scans that show that it should be it. I don't know how they know. I don't exactly know. I mean, it'd be kind of sick, honestly. I'd take a trip there. Can we open that shit up as like a um like destination? I don't know if the Catholic Church would fund it, to be honest. Maybe. I'd be down to go. I guess that's a good point. This shit's taking forever. I was kind of hoping we get a little bit more of a pop there. S&P's made new highs. Nothing else did. I was looking to see if NASDAQ could. Make the most sense if we could, but get it out the way, get new highs, and see if we can continue to push there. But I'm kind of over the waiting game. Just gonna let the stops do their thing. The only things I see like with strength today on my board at the moment is Nvidia and AMD and Netflix. The strength yesterday from Amazon is gone. Meta gone. Tesla pretty much even at the moment. We're pretty well wrapped inside like a 3-4 point range on the day. Microsoft no strength. Apple no strength. I don't really know what to think about that, but The Dow's making moves here. Almost a 100-point pop off that 548s now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm just like scrolling Amazon, seeing if there's any any shit I want to buy. There's nothing I necessarily need. I might ask chat and be like, hey, what should I buy? So I should have a professional cordless tool platform. Pretty much have that. A mechanics tool set. I have that. Tape measures, speed squares, levels. Got all that. Inspection camera, stud finders, multimeters. Got all that. Pressure washer, chainsaw, leaf blower, string trimmer, air compressor. Got all that. It's not giving me any ideas either. gosh. This hold is brutal. All right, I got stops in place. I set some alerts for up above. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try and walk away. Actually. It's back in bicep day. All right, we got stops in place at 259s. I'm just going to set a little. Make sure that's where they're set at. Yeah, 259. $259, that looks good. Dow's pulling back. I don't know if there's anything we can do in there. S&Ps. We traded 75.50s there. We never got the retest. One tick front run, which is super unfortunate. But at the moment, it looks good. I mean, 76.12 is above. That's kind of where I'm looking to see where we can get to. And I'll be okay with that. So 76.12 50s. Boom. See if we can't get up there. All right, I think that's going to do it. Nothing else I can really do here. So let's look to hold this NASDAQ. It'll turn us green on the day. Next little push to the upside probably would take care of that, even with small size compared to the Russell from earlier. Yeah. NASDAQ currently has about 110 points or so in it, up here at 317s. So entries right down there around 207s, 208s. I think 208.50 is my average. So yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for me. A little bit of a longer stream today, but we've been holding this position now for like the last 2 hours in the NASDAQ. And it just took some patience to finally be able to get something to make moves here, but I'm okay with it. We got 50 points locked in. That I feel, obviously if we pull back and take that out, then there'll still be a little bit of a red day, but nothing. I mean, yesterday was really nice, so I'm not too concerned by that. And yeah, appreciate you guys coming on, tuning in, hanging out with me today. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up, reach out. Some nice giveaways today. That was fun, keeping it moving first thing. And then yeah, we'll just kind of let it go from there. So see if S&Ps can push up to 76.12s and NASDAQ up to 483s. Be okay with that. And it is what it is. So anyways, appreciate you guys as always. Code MLT at all your favorite prop firms. Appreciate the love and support there. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.